Happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Doc Holliday. I'm back with another HBCU OverDrive live show. If you haven't done it by now, make sure that you like the stream. Make sure you like that stream. Make sure you comment, share it, and most of all, subscribe. Hit that notification bell to get everything HBCU OverDrive. And as y'all already know, I got my guy on the ones and twos with me. Mr. Brian, all the way from, I will say, Montreal, Canada. But nah, I'm messing with you, man. But I got my guy Brian from up north on the stream as always. Um, oh yeah, man. What's going on, Brian? Uh-oh. Well, everybody asked me about my sleep apnea results. Uh, uh, Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to get a CPAP machine. So I just got fitted for it last night. So that's the type of study I had last night. And other than that, man, um, um, I mean, I do suffer from severe sleep apnea. So uh, that's the reason why I said I had to go do this so we could go try to correct and reverse this diagnosis because I don't want to be going into 44 with this whole thing.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. I'm just telling everybody about my results from last night.
How'd you make out?
Huh?
How'd you make out?
Man, I made out good. I can't complain. I can't complain. I made out good.
Yeah, I had to go through that test. I sleep with a machine now. You'll feel so much better, man. You won't be tired during the day. I got the one with the nose plug. I didn't get the whole mask. I don't get the whole mask over my whole face. I just got the nasal one. And
Yeah, in fact, that's the one I got last night though. For real, like he showed me the tool that they had, and we tried both of them on. I was like, the one covering my mouth seemed like hell. I'm having an asthma attack like I was when I was younger.
Yeah, I know how you feel. That was uncomfortable for me too. I said, man, I got to try something else. So it's better to have the nasal one.
And so I what's going on, Sean, man? So that's the one I had to say like it was like an asthma, like I had to do a breathing treatment, and then the other one, like you said, is the one that just fit over the nose. So I just got the one that fit over the nose, and we got Mr. Ford up in here. My whole thing about it is I just have to. How you doing, Mr. Ford?
Hey, how you doing? Can you hear me?
All right, we can hear you loud and clear, man.
Yeah. I saw the pictures online yesterday of you doing the test.
Yeah. So we got myself fitted for the one with the nose.
Right.
And I feel like the doctor now woke me up around by 5 something this morning.
Right.
And he told me, he's like, sir, you slept throughout the whole night.
Yeah.
He said you slept throughout the whole night. You didn't snore. You didn't stop breathing. So I was like, good. That's the main thing I want to have. And even though I woke up around by 5:30, by 5:15. So I got back to the house by 5:30. I still went back to sleep. In fact, I fell asleep on the couch and woke up around about 8:15, so I got get ready for work. So I'm gonna tell people, man, look, we do not know who's gonna be the next coach. Is still up in the air. Ashley Robinson, he's a great, you know what I'm saying? He's a great AD. We don't know who the coach going to be as far as what's going on with Jackson State.
Now,
But
according to their alums in Atlanta, they will know by the time the Celebration Bowl rolls around.
well, that would be the best thing. You know what I'm saying? That would be the best thing to do because I don't think you need to say anything right now.
Right.
Because of the fact that You don't want to make you don't want to make
Make it any worse than what it is.
right. But I understand what people are saying because the simple fact that I don't understand where people are coming from because the simple fact that we're trying to keep we got to keep the recruits.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you got to keep the recruits, but you got to understand most of these recruits came only because of Deion.
Right.
And I mean, like Deion name carries. So, you know, everybody knows that. But you also see a lot of kids going into the transfer portal right now too.
I think what 771 today, wasn't it?
I
Right.
think the first day was over 1,000.
Man, it's gonna be about 8,000 players in the portal, man. That's crazy.
But hey, man, and that's crazy. Like, and if
And
it's
some
only
of them will never get
40%
out of the
gonna
portal.
find homes by the time
That's an exaggeration, but it could get that high.
it can get that high.
Yes.
So you think I'm saying by like 30%?
Well, you would immediately have a large number on day one, but to turn around and have 700 on day two, you're just going to see more people going back in the. I mean, you're going to see people the closer we get, bro. Think about it.
Yeah.
We're in bowl season.
Right.
So if a team loses FCS playoffs, them kids got the potential to go into the portal.
Right.
If a team loses their bowl game or play their bowl game and win their bowl game, you're subjected to see that. And the reason that I say that is because people want that road trip, that all of the stuff that comes with that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
When you go to a bowl game, that exposure, you still want it, and you get extra tape. If you have an opportunity to play, you'll be there. But after those bowl games, they jumping in that portal.
Right. So how do y'all feel about
And by the way, I was trying to speak earlier, but my internet went. I had to come a Wi-Fi on my phone. So peace to everybody on the panel, Mr. Ford. Nice to see you again, sir. And Brian, my brother Brian, and Doc. I'm glad you got that study done, man, because sleep apnea is serious.
Yeah, that wasn't that Reggie White's problem. Wasn't sleep apnea his problem?
Yeah, that's where he died from.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why I said it's serious.
That would, bro. My wife was like, "Hey, go get your butt tested." She was not playing with me because she do not like when she gets up in the morning hearing me snore and I stop breathing and stuff. But what do you feel? How you feel about the players that's getting into the portal from Jackson State? Like you already got Michael Players, who transferred in from Southern Miss.
Right.
He played a little bit, but he didn't play a lot.
That was gonna happen.
Mike is probably gonna transfer to Florida A&M.
Yeah,
he's probably going to Florida A&M. He's from Tallahassee.
Right.
Yeah, he's just going to Florida A&M, bro. Everybody know that he's doing it right now. That ain't no joke. Because he didn't see the field.
Right.
Pope didn't see the field. Transfer from Miami.
Right.
He been trying to enter the portal.
Transfer though. He was a bad transfer.
Pope got eligibility left, apparently.
Oh, okay. What about Big Country?
He hit the portal?
Yep.
Well, they don't need him in the Celebration Bowl. The players that's hitting the portal right now are people that just transferred in. And Coach Prime is saying, you know what I mean? Like these are people that literally transferred in that's hitting the portal. These are people that we know ain't gonna make it to Colorado, ain't gonna make it on the next team for Jackson State.
Yeah,
it's gonna be too much traffic in front of them. So they want to open it back up to wherever else they wanted to go.
What about who's the last? Katron Evans hit the portal too. He remember he came in from high school.
Yeah, but Evans, I think his playing time. Yeah, but not this year. Williams been in there more than him. That, like I said, they're reactionary. You feel me? Theirs is about they ain't had a time. but they might get some looks.
Right.
So this is all about being re-recruited. It ain't about.
That's right. Yeah.
That's all that is.
What about the lineman, that defensive lineman, what's his name? I just can't that went in the portal today from Jackson.
Yeah,
State.
we just talked about big country went into the portal. Katron Evans Michael Players is in the portal.
You think Katron Evans will have a chance with Coach Prime in Colorado?
I doubt it.
No.
I doubt it.
He must have did something while he was here.
He was trying to portal before though.
Yeah, at the beginning of the year.
He hit the portal before, bro.
Yeah.
Evans did.
Hit the portal before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beginning of the year.
Oh shoot!
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I didn't. I remember that.
That's what I'm saying. The people that's hitting the portal right now, there was already portal issues, bro. They just came up out of that portal to stay in and to stay out the season. But I ain't even gonna lie to you. It's the dumbest decision to hit the portal right now, bro. Here's why. You're going to the Celebration Bowl.
Right.
Stay on the roster. Go win the Celebration Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
After you win the Celebration Bowl, make a decision. So you can get the freaking ring if you win and everything that come behind it.
Right.
You worked hard all year, went through injuries, all of that stuff. But I knew players didn't like his playing time. But really, when he got in there, he didn't fit. Players didn't fit to me. And Big Country, he got out. It was more talent in front of Big Country.
Yes. Yeah.
He got in situations, but he really didn't even need to get in. It was just more talent in front of him.
Well, one thing,
to be honest, he's an FCS kid. He's not an FBS to me. He's not an FBS player.
Yeah,
he's an FCS player.
I get you on that. I get you on that. Just look at it though. Like Devontae Davis, man. I don't like. He was the glue of the defensive line. A lot of people saying that Niles Gaddy might hit the transfer portal.
It ain't gonna be right now.
Huh?
It ain't gonna be right now.
I know. I think I think his dad gonna talk to him.
Look, if he hit, it ain't gonna be right now. But you know why? Because he played in that Celebration Bowl. Well, he was there for this Celebration Bowl and played in the Celebration Bowl.
Yeah.
It's bigger than This bigger than him thinking about if he gonna stay or go or whatever he got going on right now.
So if you hit the
most of those kids
you can't play. Is that the rule?
What's that?
If you hit the transfer portal, you can't play.
Nah, you can't.
You can't do nothing unless you take your name out.
Okay.
Yeah, but most of these kids are waiting to see who's going to be named the coach. Once they hear who's going to be named, because that's why I think it's going to be a splash hire. I think it's going to be another nationally notarized person. Because if it's a splash hire, I don't think a lot of them kids are going to leave.
True. I agree with Mr. Ford. I wouldn't.
All right. David Terrell is Clyde Marshall talking about David Terrell of Michigan. Told the panel and said, "What's going on? What's happening?"
Yeah, I remember Dave. Yeah, hey Dave. Yeah, I remember him.
Now looking at, my whole thing is looking at the videos and stuff between him having the emergency meeting with the players Saturday night and then him having the meeting with the players at Colorado Sunday morning. One he's telling one group to not hit the portal yet, but then he's telling another group, you might as well, if you ain't gonna go, if you're not gonna fly right, you might as well hit that portal also. You might as well hit that portal.
Yeah, that team was 1-11.
True. Yeah, they don't have no talent up there. I saw Colorado this year. They don't have no talent.
He won all 85 scholarships.
That's right. Because listen, them kids from Texas A&M is already saying they going. There's a bunch of them kids from Alabama saying they going. They going to Colorado.
Yeah.
I think it's isn't it 10 of them out of didn't 10 hit it from Alabama?
Yep. Alabama had a whole bunch jump in.
Yeah, and I think Texas A&M did too.
Well, that lets you know about Jimbo.
Yeah.
Bro, listen to me. There's some things that people didn't like about what he was saying. And I understand that. I don't want to talk about it, but I'm bringing it up to say this. He went into them kids' face that was 1 and 11 and basically told them that y'all stink.
Yeah.
And that I know a meeting room full of kids that would give their all to be in a position. Look at what y'all got. It's like they took it for granted, bro. You know what I'm saying? When you come from, think about the circumstances. You're coming from a place that you had to invest in emotionally, financially, et cetera, et cetera. You all these things, you had to go in and see it progress to where it is today, and it's still going to continue to grow a program.
Right.
And then you come up there with these bougie, we got it all, 176 or $100 million is worth a facility with all these different things going on, and you like, man, I just left a group of kids that would love to be where y'all are, and you give a 1 and 11 effort, a 1 and an 11 effort.
Well, the thing with Colorado is they have no recruiting grounds. Once they pulled out of the the Big 12? See, their players are coming out of Texas and California, and they just don't have no recruiting ground. And you're right. What he wants to do, what Deion wants, is all them kids that's there now basically to leave, and he can bring his own people in. That's why he told them, "I'm bringing my own luggage."
But you really think about it too. He said the same thing to the players at Jackson State.
Right. He took 35 after the spring season. He took 35 scholarships.
He did the same thing. A lot of people said they was upset about that, but I'm like, hey, if you really think about it, he's trying to bring in his own. He's trying to establish his own team
culture.
Yeah, it's NFL. It's an NFL tactic. He's NFL.
And it's just like,
because that's what he's known for. That's what he's used to.
Yeah,
so,
it's NFL.
So the thing about it is that kids who did not pay attention to what he was saying, of course he's gonna tell him, "Hey man, you stink. Just go ahead and hit that portal."
Yeah. I think the quarterback hit today. Didn't the quarterback hit the portal?
The quarterback
was already going to hit the portal beforehand, anyways.
The QB hit the portal on Saturday. So my thing about it is that,
and he told recruits he ain't honoring their scholarship. I mean, the scholarship, the recruitment.
Hello, Sean. How are you?
So let me get to
the thing is, hey Doc, what did he say? He said, if you don't go and hit the portal, if you don't hit the portal, I'm going to make you quit.
I mean, what can you say about that? You can't say too much anything about that.
So you have the heading.
Like you said,
you have the heading there.
Like you said, Mr. Ford, you got facilities like that, and like I said, when I've seen the videos, just looking at the facilities, bro.
Right.
A lot of these kids in the HBCU world would rather have facilities like that, and they will appreciate it because we don't, you know what I'm saying? We don't have that type of facilities right there. We can get there, but we don't have those type of facilities. And then you got kids that just took it, like you said, Sean, they took it for granted. Like you went out there and took it for granted, and you was 1 in 11. And I understand where you're coming from. I wouldn't want nobody on my team that just thought 1 in 11 was was the standard. And just like just like he did at Jackson State. 2019, he's like, I don't want no team that was 3-8, thinking that's the standard. Y'all better than that.
It's not a question of they're better than that. They're just not talented enough. And the thing is, when you have a losing, when you're walking in as a coach, and the culture before was a losing culture,
right?
You have to eliminate that culture. And you know what? And that's why Deion has the cachet to get rid of everybody. You know what I mean? Because that's one of his blueprints already. Like you said, he did it in Jackson State. And and as he spoke Jackson State memories when he's talking in front of the team, he says, "I'm trying to replace you as I speak."
As I speak.
Yeah.
So this is nothing new. This is nothing new in Deion's DNA. This is what he does. The thing with his,
I don't think those kids at Colorado even watched the first Coach Prime documentary.
No, but they probably haven't watched. You know what I mean? But when you're 1-11, what are you going to do? As a player, your team wasn't good enough, or you didn't give, like you say, you didn't give the effort, because it's unexcusable to be 1-11. You're just trash.
He's going to bring in about 50 new players. He's going to bring in about 50.
He's going to try to do more than that if he could, Mr. Ford.
Yeah. I'm thinking he'll sign 25 in December, 25 more in February, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He'll have
that's what I'm thinking he'll do. And they'll all be
if you said he didn't say that, dude, look at the tape. He told those kids at Jackson State, I am going to replace you're about to be replaced as we speak of it. Like, he told them straight up in their face that he was going to replace you.
I'm looking to replace you as we speak.
As we speak. You have to go watch that doc. He said that. But I'm not saying nobody's you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying nobody's either right or wrong or how he did what he did. Well, let's see. Somebody from, I don't know if it's from Pepsi, but they're trying to total 115. He would be signing more than 50 this school year. That's a lot of kids, y'all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like, he trying to get rid of them because it gives him more opportunity to stockpile talent so that he can get them guys to compete and he can weed them out. Now, one of the other advantages is that he can recommend opportunity for people. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, look, you might not take me up on this offer, or you might take me up on this offer, but you can go to such and such and where I just came from, and you can find opportunity to play and be seen.
That's true. Man, we got a person that's watching us all the way from Ireland, y'all.
Oh, yeah, you got it.
Hey, we big time up in here, ain't we?
Dude said it turned whiter than they were. Well, okay, so since we're talking about that, here's my takeaway from that. You want a coach to come in and set the tone because it's his first meeting. So you need your rights read right at the door. Like he said, you in here having a meeting and it's still teams playing football. That's unacceptable. Yeah. And we're talking Power 5. You ain't 5-5. You ain't 5-7 or 3-8 or 4. You know what I'm saying? Or 4-7. You literally had no shot. You won one game. You beat Cal. There was no effort there. Right? Because if you go in and you compete, especially at this level, you should at least get 4 wins, 5 wins. But you coming up at the bottom of your conference, and granted that you ain't had opportunities to do some other things, is there. Now, that's just the harsh reality.
No, go ahead.
That's the harsh reality. So when he says that, he's delivering his stern message. He ain't changing. ladies and gentlemen, he's not changing for nobody. So no matter how we feel about the departure or not knowing or wishing that he stayed, he's not changing. He loved those kids.
Yeah.
Like he said it today in the show, he basically said that game was the toughest game for him emotionally because it all was hitting him at that time. From the start of the game to the end of the game, it weighed on his heart. He wasn't even making coaching decisions. He was letting his team do what his team do. So my whole thing is that JSU, the dude love y'all, like for real.
Right.
Right now, do some of y'all, not some of y'all, do people have the right to be a little upset? Yes. But the defacing of the little mule that people painted, you know, some of the little disrespect in the game, it's a little immature. First of all, we ain't pilgrims. So why is we portraying ourselves to behave in the same manner as pilgrims? Everything that we talk about, oh, he going to a PWI. Well, guess what? After that game, it was PWI like. The day after that, it was PWI like. The day after that, it was PWI like. It continues to be PWI like. What's different?
Right. Nothing different about it.
But the thing is, I understand what you're saying, Sean, and you know what? I over since Saturday, I've been different emotions. You know what I mean, as far as just being a fan, and obviously Deion. Because of Deion, I started following HBCU. I give him all the credit, and you know what? I'm going to still follow JSU. You know what I mean? I'm a fan of
me too. I'm not going away from that.
Yeah, I'm a fan. But the thing is this: I think what really bothered people. And I always said, and Doc always hears me say it all the time, and I know you heard her say, I always listen what people say. And because of what he said and the way that he left, it's going to leave bitterness to people. You're going to feel a certain way. If Deion would have came to JSU and said, here, I'm here to coach, I'm trying to do the best I can and put it on the map, yada, 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 you know what? People will still be disappointed. But when you invoke God, especially in the Bible Belt down south,
come on, man, I ain't going for that part. That's the part I can't go for, bro. Every time people when I don't care about them invoking God. That's just what He is in His spirituality. God is personal for everybody. It ain't the same thing for everybody. So when He invokes it, He is invoking it for guidance for Himself, not guidance for Himself and everybody else, but guidance for Himself. So when you seek guidance for yourself, you invoke it where you see fit. I can't let people keep going on the notion of that when the invocation of this deity comes into play, now he's playing on people's emotions because we're in the Bible Belt. Bullshit, the Bible Belt, bro. More people in the Bible Belt have left the church than years past. Nobody's wanting to talk about that. The thing is that people follow man and was emotionally attached, and they provided an emotional response. Even in that, you have to be knowledgeable enough, Brian, not to cut your bill. You have to be knowledgeable enough to know that this is a man that has the potential to have faults, that has the potential to not be right all the time, that has the potential to not only have faults, but make mistakes that would put you in a position to question him.
Yeah, I understand all
and
that.
And he ain't hearing nothing nobody's saying because he's bigger than the noise. He's in a private jet, and everybody else is on the ground.
I understand. That's so true. But the thing is, like I said, yes, it's for his own spirituality as far as like that. But you got to understand, it's just like a preacher. It's like a TD Jakes. It's like Creflo Dollar. You know what I mean? They can say things to the people, but it's for your own self-awareness on how you take somebody's word. Yes, that person might be invoking certain things that come from Scripture, or invoking certain things that in their own spiritual their beliefs. But the thing is, What I truly believe, this is what upset people the most. We're making a level. Okay, let's back up for a second. Let's just look at everything from a perspective of what he said. Okay, we'll go back. Okay, let's forget about God called him and he said that God gave him a call and he answered, called him collect and he answered. Okay, forget about that part. He said that he wanted to bring notoriety to HBCU. He did that. Check mark. Okay, he said that he wanted to level the playing field. That's incomplete. So there's things that he did say. It provided hope. That you know what I mean? Did he provide hope? Yes, he did. But you know how far hope did it? You know that has to be sustainable to other people to carry on that so and so called hope. But all of a sudden he talked about crime. But you heard him talk a little bit about crime when he was at JSU. I heard him talk about more crime when he was at the podium in Colorado. So people are going to look at him in a different way. You know what I mean?
Well,
I believe truly in my heart of hearts, you can always do what you want to do. I'm not counting anybody's pockets.
yeah.
I'm not judging anybody for the decisions that they make. It's always like I say, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And this is what people have a problem with.
Let me just say this: when I was in high school, during the mid 70s, Bobby Bowden came to Tallahassee to take over Florida State. To me, he mimics a lot of the things that Bobby Bowden did and said. Now,
That's
the
his
other thing that
mentor.
I don't think we have dealt with is the fact that when Deion came to Jackson, you got to understand he was a celebrity. Now, why is that important? Because basically in the black community, not only do we follow celebrities, we worship them. And so I say to everybody, because I tell people I'm not bitter, I don't begrudge him at all. He's doing the same thing that he saw Bobby Bowden do, that he's seen Nick Saban do, that he's
Mhm.
seen Lane Kiffin do. He's doing what most of these major Power Five coaches do. I think I said it the other night. I don't know if people were listening to me. In the last 2 years, Lane Kiffin has told the people at Ole Miss, I'm thinking about leaving. And every time he says that, they give him a $2.5 million raise.
Not a raise.
So what's the difference in what Deion did and what Lane Kiffin is doing? If you ask me, Lane Kiffin is better.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what you do at that game. Because what profession where you can be a total failure and then you walk out with $11 million like they got to give Jeff Collins over here at Georgia Tech? He was a total failure as a division one head football coach, Power Five football coach in the ACC. He won 3 games a year. They fired him in the 3rd season after the 4th game, I think after the UCF game. And they
Mhm.
telling us now they going to give $11 million of taxpayers' money to him.
Let me ask the panel a question,
Hold
if
on.
you don't mind, Doc.
Let me ask this
I,
question. Let me answer this question for Mr. Campbell.
okay.
Let me ask, hey, my feeling about not him fulfilling his contract. Uh, Even though yes, I know it's the business. I'm a type of person where I I'm a man about fulfilling what I signed up for. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
when it comes down to it, if I sign a contract for 4 years, no buy clause or whatever, you know what I'm saying, contract with insurance and all this stuff like that, right?
Right.
Uh, I'm going to fulfill that 4 year contract that I signed.
But his
And
contract had a buyout clause.
I mean, yeah, he
Yeah.
had the buy clause, but what I'm saying is, it to me, I'm just saying, as me as a man, like I'm the type of person I fulfill my agreement with.
No,
Okay, so let me ask you this.
but technically he filled his agreement if he had a buyout clause.
That is true. That's true. He fulfilled his agreement because he had the buyout clause. He basically gave back the $300,000 back to the school, which is
So,
true.
but hold on,
And
hold on,
go
hold on.
ahead, go
Don't
ahead.
I don't want you to lose your point, but I want you to stay right there on the contract. So if the contract is for 4 years with an early
Yeah.
buyout clause in it that has a penalty for early pay, then there's the potential that I'm not there to fulfill my entire obligation of my contract because I have exceeded my contract.
Right.
which means renegotiation can transpire to meet new fulfillments, right? So now the president is involved at this point.
Right.
But I just want now I'm
Okay.
gonna bring it
So
to
now we
you,
get that.
right?
So what you saying? Colorado should give Jackson State what, $600,000 or $300,000? What should they give them?
300.
They gonna give him whatever. We don't know what he negotiated for Jackson State.
But my question
You don't know what
for
we
you
go
gentlemen is this. You know what I mean? There's so many things that have been coming over the last couple of days. They said that if the president of Jackson State, they're saying things like, Deion had in his contract if he got over 30 or 35,000 in the stadium, they were supposed to get X amount of dollars. He even
Right.
mentioned about that one time. Also mentioned that, you know what? Before you miss what we're saying about, we were talking about how other coaches got paid, but they're getting paid by their community basically. But with JSU has opportunity, and the problem with a lot of the black elites, they were almost persuading Prime to go to a Power Five.
Right,
Shannon
because they
Sharp,
know they don't have commitment to the black community. They
exactly.
don't
Shannon
care about.
Sharp, Stephen
what
A.
I'm
Yeah.
about to
Smith.
and
You know what I
that's what I'm
mean?
about to get on. Yeah, you just said something. I was gonna get on about that too. So it was some things that I've seen. Look, I don't know why I've been on Twitter most of the day, y'all. But now the thing about what Shannon Sharp said about him,
If
only
he was
reason
a
why he
Prop
went to
48,
Savannah State because he was a Prop 48 student. Okay, to me, I just feel like this. Hey, bro, you could have went to that Power Five. You would have put your mind to it.
Well,
Why did you have to HBCU because you was a Prop 48? You get what I'm saying?
I'm gonna push back on the celebrity noise.
but let me say this about the prop. Let me say what the Prop 48 was all about. The Prop 48
Right.
came about in the 1980s primarily to stop a guy by the name of Big John Thompson and what was happening at Georgetown University. In the 80s,
Okay.
he basically took over college basketball. And what they did, they came up with them requirements, that Prop 48 thing, saying that if you don't come in with certain uh, um, credentials, you got to sit out. Now, I remember the guy who went and got him. Now, what happened was Shannon was actually supposed to go with his brother to South Carolina. I think it was Joe Morrison was the coach.
Mm-hmm.
But like he told you, he was Prop 48. Georgia Southern agreed to take him even though he was Prop 48. When he went to visit Statesboro, Eric Russell told him that with the build that you have, the way that you look, you're going to defense. Now, what
Right.
had happened
Okay.
previously was a guy named Bill Davis, who had worked at South Carolina State. He lost that job and came down to Savannah State. He had visited Shannon in Glenville, Georgia, told him if it does not work out with the Division I schools, we'll always have a place for you at Savannah State. When that man told him that he was going to defense, his mind told him to go to hell. And he called Bill Davis. Bill took him to Savannah State. That's what he's talking about. But
Okay.
always remember this. He's the third ignorantest person on national TV right now. I gave y'all this list the other day. The most ignorant guy on TV, I know y'all talk about he's rich, is no other than the Big Diesel, Shaquille O'Neal. The second ignorance is Charles Barkley. And then Shannon is number 3.
All right, real quick, Doc.
Jason Whitlock was a close fourth the other night too.
Let me. Who do we have fourth? Was it?
Jason,
I thought it was
Stephen
that Jay Adonde. What's his name? The guy that works for ESPN, Jay Adonde.
Jay Adonde and Jay
Is that his
Adonde,
name?
and then I think
Oh, he's terrible too.
Jason Whitlock.
Yeah, I know
Jason
Jason's a
Whitlock
big guy.
was terrible.
Yeah, used to be on Fox.
Yeah.
All right. So here's my pushback.
Go ahead,
Doc. This is simple. Here's my pushback. All right. So the problem that I have is I don't care what celebrities say. I don't have a Twitter. I don't have an Instagram. My brother got an Instagram and I use it just for dogs because that's all we post on there. So I don't engage in Instagram, Twitter, or none of those spaces. I love football. So I don't care about the noise that everybody else has. So when it comes to the celebrity, yeah, I know who they are. I see them on TV, but I don't put merit or stake into what they say. However, in this case, what Shannon said, that's another argument. I'm not defending that. It's some things he could have cleaned up and made it better. Even though he was trying to explain his experience, he did a poor job, and he's never good at explaining his experience.
Right.
The thing is this. For Jackson State, because I can't let you off the contract stuff. For Jackson State, was it in Deion's contract to negotiate his resources and capital to build a new locker room, practice fields, equipment, uniforms, meeting rooms, all tractor, lawnmowers? Remember, he wasn't supposed to be cutting the grass.
No, you're right. It wasn't that none of that stuff was in his contract. He did that all upon himself.
But it's a good tax write-off too.
Well, it's a luck. Deion is a part of a corporate structure. We've never had a black college coach that was connected to the corporations like he was. Okay, was it Under Armour? Okay, he brings in was it Walmart? Because he uses influence with Walmart. Uses influence, was it Home Depot? But
he used a lot of his sources to bring in to get,
because it was several corporations he brought to Jackson.
Now, Mr. Ford. Now I spoke with my sister. I should have sent her the link. Her name is Monica Lamb. She said that HBCUs and Jackson State squandered opportunity, especially the president, because when Prime was negotiating these deals and getting these things done with these corporate sponsors, where was the president at during that time, making those same connections so that he can go further than that, right? She writes grants for the government, and she's saying that HBCUs need to be in the grant writing business so that they can take in more money for the government to take care of their schools, because they ain't got to give it back. It's all going back into the schools. So she said, while everyone was over there sitting there and watching Prime make all these things happen for his kids, as she says, the people that should have been in on that and trying to rub elbows and make those same connections in case Prime was to ever leave, didn't do their due diligence business-wise to sever anything related to the progress that has been made at that campus.
Well, you know what you just said, right? Listen, that means that we need to have an interview with Attorney Hudson and with AD Ashley Robinson, so that we can let you lead off with what you said, and then we have our questions. That's what we need to do. So we need to set that up. We need to set up an interview with Attorney Hudson and with AD Ashley Robinson.
Well, yeah, I mean,
but that progresses, right? But that this is what I'm saying. That progresses because none of that's in the contract, but a lot of that happened, and that's things that highlight Jackson State. Excuse me. Now, everybody talks about Alabama State's facilities and how nice they look and how other people got these facilities and how nice they look, but they don't have the brand that JSU has. And
nobody has it.
Right. And it can't be mimicked. But the momentum on social media, kid you not, everybody that got brought into the JSU media space, guess what's happening in their algorithms? It's still showing up. Anything that has a JSU on it shows up in everybody's algorithms, and everybody has to focus and pay attention to that.
And
so it ain't going nowhere.
Right. And to add to your point of what you just said, the other person to me that was missing and should have been in that room when Deion was doing that was Dr. Charles McClellan as commissioner of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. He should have been in that room too. He should have been in there.
Absolutely.
Right? So
On
just
every deal, especially
Yes,
the
right. On
airline
every
deal.
deal.
The airline deal would have did the whole swag so much more.
Yeah. But it just
He
goes
just
to
do
show you
it.
that it's been
They
a
just
totally
sit back and watch
mismanagement.
him.
Well, I think, and one thing I do want to say to go back to you, because your points were excellent. I do believe that Ashley Robinson is going to make a splash hire. I don't think it's going to be TC. You know, I know y'all heard this. You know, this week LaDainian Tomlinson was on campus. I can't believe they didn't interview him. I don't think he just showed up at
Who,
Jackson State's
LT?
campus. Yeah, he was on campus
Man,
and he spoke to the basketball
yeah, I
team.
remember. Mm-hmm.
And I'm quite sure
I
he's
remember when I seen LT in high
he's
school.
connected to the now in the NFL Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
He has a gold
Yep.
jacket too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I truly believe that with the bar, and you're absolutely right. Because one of the things I keep telling them, and a lot of people get mad about, I believe because Jackson State has basically crushed everybody in the East, I think Jackson need to go west, and it would be good if FAMU could emerge in the East. I'm just gonna be honest with you, because Jackson basically has smothered out everybody in the East.
As far as in the division, yes.
Yes. I think it would help the swag if Jackson was in the West and then FAMU would emerge, because Jackson basically has smothered everybody in the East.
Well, that probably smothered everybody in the West though too.
But still, you would have FAMU in the East.
Another thing
But
that
it's good. I mean,
you know, as we were talking before, Sean, but I've just been getting more and more watching more and more reports. So Coach Prime in Colorado apparently hired the offensive coordinator from Kent State.
yeah,
So
he did.
Lee Bartolone.
He was the ex-head coach. He was the
Well,
ex-head coach.
Bartolone would probably be an analyst. And see what Jackson, if I was them, now this is me talking. If I was them,
And
I would try to convince him to stay.
Who's that?
I said if it was me, I would try to convince Bartolome to stay at Jackson.
I thought it would be. I thought it was going to be his quarterbacks coach.
Could be.
He might be. I figure
Because
quarterback
if dude
coach
calling it from
analyst.
the booth, if dudes from Kent State's calling it from the booth, the closest thing to Shador would communicate. They know how to communicate with Shador, and the comfortability is Bartolone.
Bartolome, yeah.
And they're talking about what's his name? He had on the staff.
Warren Sapp want to join. He said that on recruit.
But for defensive coordinator, is Mike Zimmer.
Yeah, and I think they've also talked to Charles Kelly, who was once at Florida State, Alabama, and he was at Georgia Tech. I think he's in play too.
See, that was another thing people were upset where Coach Prime says, I want to get my coaches paid more, and he's not taking a lot of his coaches. So, you know.
But here's the thing though. How you doing, Mo?
Hey, peace, power, and profit.
Are you good? But here's the thing though, when it came about the coaches, when he got up to Colorado, they didn't want to bring all his coaches. They want to make sure they control the narrative.
But they gave him $5 million to get anybody he wanted, right?
Yeah, but they controlling the narrative. Like they were giving him names about so Sean who was the coach from Kent State?
Right.
They said that his offense this past season was 44th in the nation. The year before it was 4th. But see, if your offense was 44th in the nation, you should not have been in 5 or 7. You should be like with 7 or 8 wins with that.
Yeah, but I think they lost the quarterback from he
ain't had no defense, and he had injuries. But that's why his offense tanked the second year. But he was on a hot streak. That's the thing, that he was on a hot streak. But
what's his pedigree? Is he from the Big Ten? Where's he from?
No, he's from the MAC. Kent State.
No, I'm saying, where did he get his undergraduate from?
I didn't even check and see where he got his undergraduate from.
That's what I'm saying. Was he a player somewhere? Was he from Ohio State or somewhere like that?
I don't know his pedigree. I know his offense was explosive. That I do know.
Okay.
They
So
created
what's
a
gonna
lot
happen?
of explosive play. So, hey, real quick. So everybody, this is Mo, the sister that I just mentioned that I talked about.
Hi, Miss Mel. How you doing, dear?
I know she ain't put everything together, but she said this is a big problem. And one of the things that she noticed, now she comes from an HBCU. I'll let her explain all of that to y'all. But Mr. Ford, I think you're probably going to hear it faster than everybody else. She's going to say something that you're going to catch. And you tell me if this can solve an HBCU problem.
Okay. Hello, I'm Mr. Ford. Hello. What's your name?
Monica.
Hey, Monica, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Okay. All right.
Sean caught me off guard. I was about to talk about this on somebody else's show, and I was like, "Oh snap! I don't know what they're talking about." But I guess the only points that I would just like to make in reference to Coach Prime and HBCU in general, and kind of the whole dynamics in reference when it comes down to the financial piece, is that being a part of the National Alumni Association with my own HBCU, which was Voorhees College, now Voorhees University.
Right.
And understanding when the timing is to take advantage of the opportunities. When Coach Prime went to Jackson State University was around the time when George Floyd had got killed, and a lot of the corporations were looking to bridge the gap for diversity. So he took the opportunity at that time to take advantage of some of that funding that he can actually get from them. He's not the only person that actually could have taken advantage of that. Because when Amazon Jeff Bezos' wife was looking to reach out to HBCU, she actually gave millions to I think it was about 7 HBCUs or however many that she did.
Yeah, that's right.
University.
That's right.
They got it.
Yeah.
And so I think from another perspective, with HBCUs administrators or alumni or whomever would like to change the dynamics of infrastructure or some resources at HBCUs, is to think about the times, what's going on in the world and where you can benefit. So I just said one, when the corporations was looking to bridge the gap, and still is, honestly, bridge the gap. If you go to on the Department of Treasury website, there's a part that talks about economic impact. Oh man, I just don't have it at the top of my memory, but I'll get it and I'll get it to you all, where they sent a lot of money down. One of the areas is, you guys already know. Well, before I jump there, hold on, I jump ahead of myself. So then after that, it was the pandemic. So during the pandemic, we really missed a huge opportunity for HBCUs because the campuses were empty.
Right.
And at that point, we could have took advantage of the facilities being used for research, because the feds was dishing out billions. We could have used it for contact tracing. We could have used it for call centers. We could have used it for COVID. And the only reason I know about a lot of this stuff, I'm very involved in the community, and we took advantage of a lot of it on a small scale. So just think if our universities and campuses would have opened up their universities to some of those opportunities. Another way is that, as you know, we just had the American Rescue Plan funding that shifted down. Now, the problem with not problem, the areas with states and HBCUs deal with their American Rescue Plan money, because you got the opportunity to get millions and use that money how you saw fit. If you didn't use it on infrastructure to change the beautification of the school to attract more students, which in turn is bringing more money, then it was our fault. Because right now I'm trying to bridge the gap. There's a couple of companies. So let me just throw out a little information for people who may want to get involved in on a macro level to help their HBCUs. The corporations that you have right there in your vicinity, in your area, those individuals are willing to give out money, but they say we don't ask. I'm dealing with a couple corporations right now. We were like the first person. They were so excited. We were like the first person to come over and say, "Hey, would you guys like to support?" I'm do a lot of housing repairs for seniors, and they wrote those checks so quick. Um, and so it's just a matter of a lot of people are afraid because they don't know, and you don't know what you don't know. You don't know
Oh,
that if you go to a corporation and speak with their community outreach person, what they would do. But here's what happens with us. Someone says, I'm going to give you $1 million to go towards, let's say, your science department for STEM,
okay.
right? Or
Right.
let's say they have $1 million. I said that wrong. They have $1 million for STEM. What our spearhead individuals would do, they would say, okay, how much is that could we get in salaries? That's not what programmatic money is for. That's not what grant money is for. 15%
Right.
of that money, yes. But what you should be doing is say, okay, I'm going to write based on building my departments. Each one of our figureheads, our department heads in those areas of our HBCUs can write towards these areas, get funding, build up the educational piece in these different departments to help the students and bridge the gap with these companies for students, for jobs. Professional associations are like the best kept secret, but our students are participating in them. Oh man, listen, Sean can tell you, I could go on and on where we could have benefited. But in reference to Coach Prime, right? Anytime you have a celebrity that allows you to benefit off their name or their celebrity, so to speak, to use your social media to make money, all you have to do is shoot a video and somebody come and view and everybody comes and view, and you make money and everybody make money. Come on. You've done more than enough than a blueprint. You've allowed somebody to benefit off of you. And a lot of people will tell you when they come in the building, turn your cameras off. When they
Right.
come to speak, you can't video. Like, I don't want listen. I probably spoke too much in as it is, but there's a whole nother side that we could really look at this. And even now, I think I see somebody have last year say, "Man, people streamed the Tennessee Jackson State game, and they had over 100,000 views, and they made thousands off of streaming that game,
Oh
right?
yes, I've seen that.
Right. So." In that case, like I told one of my friends because they reached out because I made a comment about this stuff on my Facebook, and they say, "Hey, does Voorhees have social media?" Man, I wanted to fall out my chair. Like, what? Did you just ask me that? And so I sent them all the links and everything, and I said, "Man, we are struggling to get 1,000 people on our social media. That's a problem because you could get money without asking the alumni for money. All alumni have to do is go and view your social media the whole time. The school." So I told them, I said, "Hey, it's what you need to do with your students. Give your students extra credit. Every time the school does something on social media, they need to come back and write a 1-page paper on it. And guess what? That means every time somebody view that page, there go those numbers. There go those checks. Like, it's so simple till it's scary. But we don't, it's almost like we don't want to come out of our economic situation. Every alumni that came through the building, they give $3 out of every check. When I was in the military, I'm used to change. We used to change all the time. Leaders, good leaders, bad leaders. Hey, you're going to get them. They're going to come. They're going to go. You get used to them. They might be gone the next 2 months. They might be here a year. They might be gone in 3, But what you do, you grasp and you say, every good leader, train and promote, right? So when somebody come through and they're giving you the business, they're giving you the know-hows, bam, you're supposed to have that successor by the hip. Like, hey, I need to, whoever he's contacting, whatever relationships he have, somebody need to be right there being in a relationship. So when they move on, guess what? Relationship is still there. But what we can't do is say, okay, we gain the relationships just to pat the pockets. Because if you was doing more with less with the money you were making, then you don't have to worry about getting another check. But if you was really smart, you write yourself into the grant.
Can I ask a question, please?
What?
Let me ask you, can you give me the name of 2 HBCUs that might be doing what you're talking about?
That may be doing what?
Using social media correctly and, taking advantage of celebrity and doing the things that you just spoke about. Are there any black schools that we could look at as like a model?
Well, I can tell you who I do see on social media, and
Okay.
that's HBCU bands.
Okay.
I
Okay.
see HBCU
Yep.
band all the time. They're filming them coming into the stadium. They're filming the girls dancing. They're filming
Right.
the bands are taking advantage. University my university, they stream all of our games. Now they stream all some of the happenings that's going on in school. The problem
Right.
is it's kind of like, let's say the conversation of Deion was off the table, but you were building social media contact because you heard, hey, YouTube, you get 1,000 subscribers, come to your YouTube channel, you can start making revenue, you can sit there, you can make content, you're a good commentator, boom, you can make this happen. And you're like, man, why nobody coming like you watching? I see I got 1,000 people watching, but I got 2 people like the show, 5 people like the show, 50, like, come on, all it takes is a like. All you gotta do is click the button. Like, are we serious? For some reason, our folks, if they see that you're gonna make money, they'll watch you, but they're not gonna let you make that money. They don't want you to make the money. So if we can conquer that, why aren't you all we doing is, I'm not taking nothing from you. I'm not even asking you to write a check. Only thing I ask is when my video to subscribe, hit the notification. When I pop up, let it play in the background while you're cleaning, cutting grass, washing your car. Why? Because
the algorithm get to it.
Exactly. I started my high school scholarship fund, $500 per student. We gave out 12, 14, I think 12 in 2020, 14 in 2021, and 10 in 2022. But believe it or not, giving out $500 cash, going back to looking for high school students, you know how hard it is for me to get somebody to write a 1-page essay? I have to go hunt the students down. Say, hey, I'm trying to give y'all some money. Can you please send me? Matter of fact, I don't even want to judge. I can't even judge the essays because I don't have that many coming in. So I say, hey, send me an essay wherever you at in the United States. You graduate 2023, bam. I'll make sure you get that 500. And you know how hard it is to give that away?
Right.
I'm talking about giving and receiving. Like, if we can conquer that, if you could change the minds of individuals to see money other than in their bank account, cash producing assets, teaching someone how to get it, not only from just taking, but you can get it and make it reproduce, and you can show somebody else how to do that, and then come back, you show your HBCU. But guess what? Some of our administrators are not listening. I'm very involved in mine, and I have the hardest time. I was so upset that we lost a relationship with a company bridging the gap for some students for intern, and they went to Benedict, because I'm in South Carolina, so we got several HBCUs here. And I was so mad because I'm like, man, I work hard with this lady, and y'all let Benedict. She went to another school that received her in. I couldn't get upset. I get grant money from her, but she was trying to bridge the gap for jobs. We opened the door for emergency management with all the storms was coming through. Savannah River Plant opened the doors for that particular degree to pay for students to bridge the gap. One student went to that program. Student graduated, he made $60,000 a year.
Right.
Like, how do we change the mind of people to catch what you're trying to give them? If you're just going to ride the wave because I'm giving it to you or because I'm providing for you, then what are we to do?
So what do you think is the reluctance?
Let me get before Brian. Let me get this. So I'm looking at this right here from Maverick. I'm not saying. Look, I'm just saying like this. As a Jackson State alum, I am personally proud of what Coach Prime has done within the 3 years that he was at this school. He did his mission. He did his job. We are appreciative for what he did, for what he has done for the school, and for what he has brought back to us. A winning tradition. The only thing most people are upset about is the way that he left. And if you understand about the business of college football, you should know that.
Right.
You should know that. But I'm sorry, you can go right ahead.
He said, the comment said, will we be talking about this if Coach Prime? That's not true because we on social media talking like this all the time. And the question is, do you tune in if it wasn't Coach Prime? Not that the conversation don't happen, not that the change of trying to help HBCUs, what can we do? How can we make things better? Not that conversation don't happen. It's because of the individuals involved is that y'all tuned in.
Right. So let's see. as the host of question, why does most HBCU look like old prison facilities, and why are these administrations not putting money into these infrastructures, these HBCUs? So, first of all, my university doesn't look like a prison facility. Most of these schools do not look like prison facilities. We've been upgrading the facilities for the last 25 years. Okay. Now, we put money into these schools. We put money to everything that we get. When we get the money, it's the fact that if you live in a state that's a red state that cuts the funding of your institution for HBCUs, but they give it to these like I'm gonna say what my guy HBCU man talk say, these historically white colleges and universities. I'm not gonna call them a PWI, a historically white college and university. Then you will understand why you see some of the facilities the way that they are. Okay, it is what it is. If you got and just looking at a fact, just looking at some I seen on Twitter that a lot of schools like Sean, I know Tennessee State, what they like almost $2 billion underfunded.
Yeah, at least
Like
500 million.
Wait,
I know that.
500 million.
Right.
Like, yeah. We shouldn't be trying to ask these people for, you know what I'm saying, our money because it was supposed to be given to us a long time ago. That's the reason why you see certain endowments in the South from HBCUs that's like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 million dollars in endowments. It's not saying that we don't give, we give a lot, we give enough to our schools, but if you got state government officials that do not care and they keep underfunding our schools, you're going to have the same situation. You're going to be in the same situation that we're in now.
Yeah, but the thing is, I like to say, just for once, the thing I like to say, and I agree with Mo here on, I think the point that I really getting from it, you have to create new revenue streams.
And also, if you finish that point, well, here's one of the things you got to remember about HBCUs. Majority of HBCUs have an affiliation, a religious affiliation.
Yeah.
Right? If you have a religious affiliation, and some of them are 501c3s, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you have a religious affiliation, 501c3s, the government has moved away from funding faith-based organizations. Now, in my opinion, I think that when our schools were put together back in the day, that's the means and the way that we had to go to get our facilities put together. So now we're in modern day 2020, 2022, right? And we're looking for the government to fund a private institute.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole nother ball game. Nother ball game because you really can't, especially if you're faith-based. But I'm gonna pull that because I was an auditor for the state of South Carolina, and that was one of the first when I had to audit the schools. That was one of the first things I noticed. I was trying to figure out, like, hey, why does University of South Carolina State, Clemson, they get this much money, and all the other 7 HBCUs they get that much. And so once it started getting into nonprofits and for profits and how the money works, we don't fall under those categories, and I don't think that our administrative, the individuals who are supposed to create policy change. So I would say, let me say it like this, because I don't have the fact in front of me, and I like to speak with the black and white, and I don't have it in front of me. But when we talk, so when we get into these election years and we're talking about policy change, we shouldn't be just talking about the fact that government should give to HBCUs. We should look at the policy that is affecting funding going to the HBCUs.
Okay.
Because if they are private, faith-based, the rules have changed of funding faith-based organizations. So we're going to get what we get, which is going to be crumbs. And that's the part that we have to change. It's the policy that created the fact of, can the state give to HBCUs? And if so, how much? And if they can't, based on the faith-based or the private status, then how can we change those policies to support or to favor our HBCUs? That's why we're stuck. Because
Mr.
all of that
Ford.
funding
Okay.
came down, we could have gotten some of that.
Mr. Ford, where you at?
Mr. Ford, I think Mr.
He
Ford.
fell off. Okay. So I'm
Okay.
pretty sure he probably tuned in. Now I wanted to ask him because I know that he would catch it first. That's the reason that I said it. But Doc, it looked like you caught it and Brian. If we did things like that, that creates an avenue of funding for us to have to be able to play the game that we need to play on a bigger stage. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel
We don't have a coach leave because we created a revenue stream and we're doing business a particular way to be able to solve some of these things, and the state can't come after it how they will come after it any other way.
I was watching a podcast. I think Mo was mentioning how the Tennessee game was done by students, and they were saying if Deion Jr. would have did the same thing for Jackson State and owned his content as far as like that, he could have been selling to ESPN, and he could have been made millions of dollars and hired other people in Jackson vicinity to, you know what I mean, help him produce. Now going to Colorado, he has a team, and Colorado has the rights now to his media thing. That's what I was hearing today from I think the Lighthouse was talking about that.
They don't have nothing to do with Bucky. They ain't got nothing to do with Bucky Channel. Well Off Media, and he just gained 60 or 70,000 more subscribers.
Right.
He ain't selling that to nobody. You know, Prime don't. I mean, they can have all the other stuff because they gonna do that. They gonna do that.
Right. And remember that, and another thing our people have to understand is year after year, the same grind you got in the first year, you got to have in the second, have in the third, and then you got to stay up with the change and where the money is coming from and who's giving the money and know how to tackle it. And I think that we don't spend enough time in those training hubs of where they're giving funding. Like so right now there's the CDFI, right? So there's an opportunity for non-applicant CDFI and then the for-profit, the certified ones to get funding. And so you had the opportunity to write up whatever it is you wanted to write up, get up to 150,000 or up to 300,000, like little hubs like that can actually make a difference. But the problem is it's not one time, because when you're going after sponsorship money, grant money, those are one shot, one kill. Guess what? You got to come with something crazy. And I think that our people have gotten used to that somebody just pouring it. It's just raining, pouring, and you don't really have to do much, just show up. That's not how it works. You have to put in some effort, you have to put in some work, and it's constant change. And I think we have enough creativity to do it, but it is hard work. It's a matter of who wants to do it and who wants to continue it. But you just got to continue. You got kids. I mean, these kids constantly come into the school. You just recreate the rinse, wash, repeat, and keep the party rolling.
I got a question.
Yeah, what's going on, man?
I'm Fresco. I'm new here, man. I just seen y'all live, man, and I seen y'all talking about Deion, and I just wanted to ask one question. And this question may be slightly irrelevant, but it's relevant. And I always wanted to ask black folks, do y'all think we just better off? And I hear the lady over there talking about all these things we need to do. Do you all just think we're just better off going back to segregation and just going back to doing everything in-house, getting our own communities back in our own university and starting our own things back up and building from the ground up, and then putting the money, allocating the money in-house to all the HBCUs instead of trying to go to the state and ask them for money and keep asking them, and they telling us no, and then they give us crumbs, and then they tell us no, and then they give us crumbs. Do you all think it's just a better decision just to go back to segregation? That's my question.
Ooh.
Can I step in as the new panelist?
Go ahead, man.
What's up, Hoop?
What up, Brian? Good to see you, bro.
What up, man?
What's up, Doc? How you feeling, man?
Man, I'm feeling better, man. I'm feeling good.
All right, already. You know, that's a hell of a question.
It is.
And with that question has to come with a standard, a code, being on one accord. And if we're being honest, black folks ain't on that shit, man.
No.
And it's the crazy part. I don't mean to cut y'all off.
Go ahead.
The crazy part about it is it was no such thing as black on black crime during segregation. We had Black Wall Street. We had inventors, buku inventors that invented a lot of stuff that these white folks then claim they invented. They then rewrote the history books and everything. And it's like, I mean, for the ones that want that again, that don't want to be ingratiated into the system of white supremacy, you don't think y'all don't think that's realistic?
Well,
I'm gonna say it like this.
It is.
Can I finish my
diatribe?
Yeah, but let me answer that. No.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so now when you say something like that, bro, it's kind of like it's like a hot button right there. You know what I'm saying? In a sense, you have to realize that we kind of are in that situation right now because certain parts of your cities and certain parts of your neighborhoods can be all black. You know what I'm saying? It's just like you got neighborhoods that's all, Hispanic, Mexican, you got Korean neighborhoods, you got Japanese, you got I stay in North, I stay in North Urban, Valley Ranch. You got a whole Pakistani Indian community right here in North Urban. And they are sustainable in what they do. And I will be very honest, y'all. We are our own worst enemy.
Bingo.
You have to realize that we are our own worst enemy because the way that you think about it, and Mr. Ford, you can say if I'm right or if I'm wrong. The power structure of how United States is worked out is that we don't teach these people how to manage money. We don't give them finances. We don't give them anything. We let them fend for themselves. Now, back in the day, back over 100 years ago, we had that power structure. We had that financial structure. Just go back and look at it. Black Wall Street. Go look at in Tulsa. Go look at your Harlem. Doing a Harlem
Seneca Village.
Yeah.
Before it became Central Park.
Arkansas, Pine Bluff. Pine Bluff, Arkansas.
What's that?
Pine Bluff, Arkansas, man. Black entities, black cities.
We have that. We have all that. You know what I'm saying? Like we have all that, but it was always in the power structure to where if we give you something, then we know you're not gonna do nothing. You're not gonna do nothing right with it. That's where I kind of, I won't say disagree, but this is what I'll say to that. We had it, but everything we had was taken away. It was burnt down, flooded like in Georgia with that lake. Seneca Village was bulldozed out, turned into a park. We even had stuff out here in Louisiana, New Orleans, that was flooded out, burnt down. And it's like, we can easily say, oh man, we ain't do nothing with the opportunity we had. They'll make us think that, but in actuality, they took it away.
Well, no, that's not true. So everybody says that, with Black Wall Street, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which was burnt down, that's facts. But it actually was built back up. We didn't keep the shit going because we go through different ideology. And let me ask you this. Can somebody on the panel tell me how long does the black dollar cycle through our community?
Not far at all.
It was one. I think it's 0 now. We get it and then we give it back.
6 hours.
Yeah.
6 hours. From paycheck to gone.
Yep.
6 hours. Other communities, days, weeks, months.
Yeah.
6 hours. The black dollar circulates within its own community. So, we can blame everybody else in you're not wrong, brother. You're not wrong. But at the end of the day, what I always tell my players when I was a coach, you deal with what you can control. And what you can control is to intentionally put money into Black institutions. You can control that. It may be inconvenient. I understand that. It may be a little off-putting. I understand that. But we can control that. We can't control because at the end of the day, we 13% of the U.S. population. Like, that's just facts.
I don't know about that. I always think.
Then what they gonna do?
All right. So what are we doing? What
they gonna do?
There's a lot more of us than they tell us. But hey, I mean, you got to go by. If you want to go by the census,
but we got to go off something now. I mean, we can always do they lying, but I mean, at some point we got to have some benchmark of something to go off of. So, as we know, 13% of the U.S. population, right?
What it is.
Well, white people know that when you put so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans together, that they are the minority. That's why they're acting the fool now, because they know that the people of color outnumber them. So you are correct when you talk about the question mark about the census.
Fair enough, but I mean, so what's the solution? Just bitch about it, or like understand that we marginalized, we know that we behind the 8 ball. What's the solution? So again, back to the Black
segregation.
6 hours, the Black dollar is gone, and we earn well.
That's the thing, Hoop. You're 100% right. Is that it's you have to keep Black dollars in Black communities, and you know what? And so that would stretch the thing. There's not many Black banks. There's not a lot of Black infrastructure. You know what I mean? You as far as hair shops, the Koreans got all that. You know what I mean? As far as in their neighborhoods,
absolutely.
The bodegas, you know what I mean? It's not owned by us. There's a lot of commerce in Black areas that are not owned by Black people.
And check it, Brian. When I play ball overseas in Europe, I'll be brief. When I play ball overseas in Portugal, literally they had those same hustles, those Koreans over there in Portugal. They siphon money from everybody's communities. So now over here stateside, as they refer to, like they got all the hoods locked up with all the, the hair and all the nails and all that shit. But they do that globally. So it's like if we don't get privy to doing that stuff on that spectrum, all we doing is just talking, man, for an hour or two and having these little ciphers, and it's going nowhere. So we got to peep game. How game is to be peeped.
And this is a good one for me to come in right here. And the game is to train successors, because if you speak with anybody in those industries that you just spoke about, whether it's the gas stations or the cosmetology world, they will tell you that the cost for them to start to get certain things in the industry, they inflate the cost on them, and so it makes it very difficult for our people. So those who have already cracked the code, when we talk about building think tanks and Shark Tanks, we have to go behind the scenes and learn to train each other, and then start our businesses and stay in compliance. But in order to do that, somebody has to teach that. Somebody has to share that knowledge. Somebody has to create that incubator so that when we do go to the table, they don't trick us up with things like you don't have a NACS code, or you don't know what a DUNS number is, or you don't know that Sam's change is no longer a cage code and now is a UEI, and they've already done kicked you out of the system because you didn't renew. Those little things that keep our businesses from flourishing to create the community. You could be segregated right now. All you gotta do is go to one of your rural areas and start building up around it. But in order to keep it, the compliance piece of it, to keep it, because they changed the goalposts, they changed the rules, they changed the zoning rules, they changed the licensing rules. And so they move things around on us all the time. So you always have to have somebody in the know to come back and say, hey, you need to change this up on your business. This has changed. Make that work this way. So when we go back to the table, we can continue to thrive. Not that we don't want to. It's not that we don't have people that's doing it. It's because they changed the goalposts on us. They changed the rules. By the time we go back to make sure that we stay in compliance to continue to build up our communities, we can't.
And see, that's the
Africans don't struggle with that. Africans got it down. So we can't do that. Africans don't have any problem with that.
Africans come out here, and so do the Indians and the Asians.
Around us, man.
No, I'm gonna tell you why. They get tangibles. They get loans just for coming out here.
They give them money.
Yes.
They come with nothing though, man. They come with nothing.
And they get something.
Because the community.
But wait,
the government, not the community.
No, the community. They rock with their own people. They don't mess with American blacks. They mess with their own, and they got their own little self.
Yeah, it's easy to rock with your own people when the government is giving you stuff just for coming here.
It's not just that, bro. It's not just that.
What it is.
They call us Akakas, bro. They don't mess with us, bro. They got their own thing.
Yeah, I know that.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Let me get back on. Let's get back on to the whole topic at hand right here because I understand. I love everything what we talking about, and I'm going to create a show just for that. I'm gonna have Mo. You don't mind come back on the show if I create another show and just hit my email. We can do that because all this talk right here, man, we can go on for hours with stuff like this.
But it's all relevant.
And it's all it's all relevant. But I just want to keep it at, you know what I'm saying, keep it within what we're here for. My whole thing is Deion a hypocrite for how he left and why he left? And then this question is posed by Vail, and people want to know. He asked, "What did the president of Jackson State do in the last 2.5 years to help Deion Sanders?" I can't speak on that.
What I can say is about that is that it almost seems like it almost seems like we question the man about what his word is, and then everybody trying to shift the blame to somebody else. This is the whole thing. Jackson State, Deion Sanders couldn't get hired as a head coach nowhere. Do everybody agree with that?
Yes, that's true. They gave him a shot.
Like they talked about him. They said he was unqualified.
He didn't have a college degree.
He didn't have a college degree. That's the reason why he was unqualified at the time.
Yeah.
So he interviewed for Arkansas. He interviewed for Florida State. He interviewed for a lot of
people. Well, his representative talked. He never had a formal interview with Florida State. His representative talked with them.
But they wanted him to be an assistant coach.
By proxy, he was.
Yeah.
They wanted him to be an assistant coach, not a head coach.
Right. That's right.
But all the time he wanted a PWI job, but they wouldn't give it to him.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what happened was his people gave him a job, and I feel like when everybody be saying that Deion gave money and did this at Jackson State, I feel like by Jackson State giving him the opportunity, that right there cancels that out. Because he wouldn't have had the opportunity. He wouldn't have had.
No, but here's the problem with black people. We can't always have somebody working for hope and working something for the pride and for the love of the community. Because if the other institutions are going to pay them, you know what? They have the right to go. Did I like how he did it? Absolutely not. But we got to stop. How are you going to give a guy $300,000 and then be offered from a white school $5 million? You can't compete. So,
but he said it wasn't about the money.
But the thing is, it's about everything else. You can say it's about the money, but the bottom line, at the end of the day, Jackson State and the surrounding areas and the alumni and whatever black billionaires in the States, if they wanted to put the pool together money, they could have kept Deion at Jackson State, so it wouldn't be about the money.
I don't think Prime left because of the money.
He didn't leave because of the money.
I don't think he left because of the money. I think he left because he wanted to be more mainstream. He wanted to be more in the line with the Nick Sabans and all them.
Yeah, money's in that whole little thing though, bro. It's a whole.
I
It's
understand,
hard
but
to keep somebody who don't want to be kept.
He wanted to be Power 5. He wanted to be Power 5.
Yeah, I think he wanted that from the get-go, but they wouldn't let him in.
I think so too. Yeah, I think he did.
Jackson the Power 5 though, but once he saw he couldn't do it, he moved around.
Yeah. That's what I was.
I mean, they was stealing from him.
I mean,
Right.
hey, I ain't
So what you say, Fresco? So why you say they were stealing from him? How you feel they were stealing from him?
I'm talking about the people. I mean, I don't know who stole from him, but Deion said they was stealing stuff out his bag. They stole his boom box that was sentimental to him. It wasn't about the money, but the boom. Yeah, and then you had the water issue that he was trying to help. He was trying to help with that.
Hey,
and they ain't won't do him.
But see, on the water issue, bro, that's a state and a local thing right there. That was a state thing. The state is trying to fight the local because why? The simple fact that Jackson has the airport and the state wants the airport. That's all it is. It's a power play. So they're not. So the thing about the water is the state wants to choke out the city. The governor of Mississippi, Tater Tot Reeves, and Mary Lumumba was going butting heads the whole time.
We back to money.
It's about the money. We knew about
no. We back to money. We back to money.
Yeah. We back to money. And so we knew about the water. You know, everybody knew about the water situation, but the water situation got amplified when we had that big hard ass freeze last year in February. And when you got old ass pipes, old infrastructure for the water, it magnified it 10 times, like 1,000 times more. So you kind of, it's like basically it's all about butting heads with those dudes right there.
I brought the water issue up just to say this is part of the stealing and all. That's the part of the things he had to deal with. It ain't like he had to deal with somebody stealing from him all the time.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, we gonna keep it real though with HBCU stuff, man. Listen, man. Prairie View, born and bred. Prairie View, played ball there, coached at Prairie View. You know, it's a lot of bullshit in the SWAC, man. Like, we gotta stop being disingenuous about how it really is to be in a trench. And so maybe his threshold got met, and he didn't want to be a part of that shit no more, and he moved around. Like, so we don't know the idiosyncrasies, and I saw some rumors. So one thing I don't like to do is spread rumors, but it's about people stealing money from the program. So I don't know if that's so, but I don't.
Well, we had that issue at Southern. I go to Southern University, and
but it's kind of idle that all that comes out when you say a man was hypocritical. But what I'm saying is when they stole that little thing from Deion Sanders' office, he came on camera and said that. I feel like if the president was stealing or whatever was going on, he should have did the same thing.
No, but he kind of threw it out there in one of his interviews when the guy asked him about the attendance, and he said there seemed like there's 60, but all the counts I'm getting is like 40. But and he said they're messing with my money. He didn't mention that.
When you walk, so when I graduated from my HBCU in '99, and then I joined the military, so I didn't come back till like 20 years later, right? So I come back, I want to save the whole campus, right? So I got all these glory ideas, what I'm gonna do, how I'm gonna do it. I'm excited. Boom, join the national. I'm getting, and then somebody else says to me, they make me mad. I can't infiltrate the way I want to, or create change, or influence change, or get things going the way I think it should go. This, that, or whatever. You get frustrated. You're like, I ain't doing this. I'm gonna go do this. Or I'll help them. I'll give them some money, but I ain't doing this no more. Walk away. I think you gotta look at it from a whole nother perspective. Analyze it from the fact of, you put matter of fact, don't even put yourself in your shoes. Get involved in one. and
So
see and see how and do it for what is basketball season now? Do it for a season. And when I say get involved, get boots on the ground, get in the booth star, the alumni, whatever, and try to get involved on the school side, not just the sport. Get involved. You want to help the students, you want to do this, you want to do that. Give some ideas, see if you can catch bridge the gap with some companies, get some people some jobs, whatever. See how far you get, or what experience, what you experience with it, and then come back and revisit the conversation. And I promise you'll find your answer why he probably left.
So I got
Man,
my boy. I got my boy DJ Raw Truth up in here, man.
What's good?
So,
What's good, man? Peace and
going
blessings to everybody, man. Y'all doing y'all thing.
DJ.
What's good, brother? Let's keep it all the way real. And brother Doc, can I have the floor for a little bit? I'm not gonna take the whole time. Let's be honest, because you got national media saying some bullshit, and then you got other side saying some bullshit. Let's be real. Why Coach Prime Deion Sanders left? He always wanted to go to the FBS. I don't think he genuinely appreciated what Jackson State did for him or what HBCUs did for him. His degree that he had was from an HBCU. It allowed him to coach. And when FBS teams didn't want him, Jackson State called and took that chance on him. If Jackson State never did that, he would not be in Colorado.
Right.
These are facts.
So two SWAC championships, 2 SWAC East champions, 2 Celebration Bowl visits, 27-5, undefeated in the first year. All your resources, investments, and time on equipment and all the other things isn't repayment enough?
Can I say this, brother?
Wait,
no one is saying he didn't do great things.
No, you just did. You did.
Wait. And Doc knows this too, because I wasn't even finished. We all know, because I made videos, countless videos about this. And
I watch every one.
And the first thing that Doc will tell you, the first thing I will say is, man, Deion Sanders did some great things. And I started to list everything he has done that was great. And then I got to the real, because nobody wants to hear fake stuff. It's just like the people that try to tell Jackson State fans, move on. This happens. But they're not mad because Deion left for the FBS. They're mad because how it was done. Because he didn't have to say God called him to come to HBCUs. He didn't have to say or make himself the face of this new HBCU renaissance. He could have been very honest and said, I'm looking forward to the opportunity. We'll see what happens. That's all he could have said in the press conference. Now, am I lying on that?
Yes.
No,
Yes.
No, you're not lying.
No, you are lying. Let me tell you why. Because what do all black people do? What do all black people do, bro? When they get when they take a new job or when something good happens in their life, what do they all say?
God bless me.
Thank you, Mo. So miss me with the God talk. Everybody does it. Everybody does it. We listen to it the most. Listen. I listen to y'all say it all the time. I don't even follow that.
Brother, I've studied religion more than a lot of people.
It's not even about studying religion. It's about what people say.
Wait. You're not supposed to use God to advance anything.
Says who? Where's that rule? Where's that rule at?
It's the same.
Bro, I'm not a Christian. I don't follow no faith. I don't follow no faith. My great grandfather was a pastor.
So you
that
really
shit don't mean it don't apply to me.
Hold up. So you prove my point. You don't follow it. So
no. My point is y'all all do it.
You're not supposed to use God the Most High in that context.
Y'all all do it regardless. Y'all all do it.
You sure that I do it?
So you saying every black person say God sent them to do something?
Brother, I am telling you right now. Every black person that's on here that is a Christian that follows Jesus Christ
I'm not a Christian,
or
bro.
God. I'm not talking to you then. Every last one of them, when something good happens to them, they give reverence to something outside of themselves and they say God did or
That's not
thank
true.
you, Jesus. So when Prime comes on there and said, no, this is the truth. This is the truth. Y'all don't want to
But
deal
what's
with it.
wrong with
Y'all want to
saying thank
block
you,
it.
Jesus?
Sean,
But I never.
Hold
I
on,
think
But I never said that's what
I didn't
called
get
me.
some order. Let me get some order. First, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get to Monty. Monty, what you got to say, man? Because he been waiting for a minute.
hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah.
Okay. One, what that brother is saying is correct regarding the God thing, because Deion is actually saying that now in his Colorado press interviews. Because when you are speaking like that, you are speaking to the Christian community, and that's a part of people morals. So that is implemented a lot, like he was saying. But I want to get back to the question at hand regarding what did the president do in regards to helping Deion Sanders. Now, yes, it's true. Jackson State gave him a shot, but just like any other black man, here it is. Deion Sanders is considered probably one of the, if not the greatest football player to ever play. And he coached at State of Texas, won four state football championships, still don't have enough experience. And this is what happened with a lot of our brothers. Meanwhile, another NFL player just went from from high school to a Power Five job, and that's a white guy. I think it's Trent or somebody. He just got hired.
Yeah,
What's the
Trent
difference
Dilfer.
between him and
Yeah, Trent Difford went to UAB.
right? So, but he went straight from high school. So once again, even in this game, that as a black man, the goalposts always keep getting moved. Let's be honest, when Deion came to Jackson State, I've been a fan of Jackson State for years, even though I went to another HBCU. When he came to Jackson State, the SWAC wasn't expecting to get what they got. Most of the coaches were still kind of arrogant and kind of locked them out. You seen the way Connell Maynard was acting with them and everything when they had that spring season, because he said, "Hey, I got 5 stars coming," and he came in and he literally kicked all their ass.
Yeah.
And at this point of the game, after going 2 seasons straight undefeated, 2 seasons straight undefeated, that don't happen nowhere. I'm up here in Detroit, and then it took Harbaugh damn near 6-7 years to get Michigan back on point, and he got a damn near $1 billion budget. And Deion did it in 2.5 years. But the problem is, okay, if he stays there and Jackson State just keep winning, then everybody's just playing for second. Now the SWAC really starts to look weak versus when you go back, it was kind of going back and forth. But now, okay, it's going to be the Deion era, and then nobody's going to win because he's going to continue getting the recruits. He's going to continue, doing what he's doing. Now, the president of Jackson State, from what I'm hearing inside, a lot of deals that Deion was trying to set up for the university, he undercut. Let's look at College Hill. College Hill was produced. Anybody know who College Hill produced by?
Wasn't that BET, right?
That's Tracy Edmonds.
Tracy Edmonds. Okay.
Tracy Edmonds. That's the girl, right?
Yep.
She worth $60 million. She tried bringing College Hill to Jackson State. That got blocked. So they end up going to other HBCU. Okay.
Yeah, went down
In regards to the Celebration Bowl, none of the money from the Celebration Bowl went to the football team. Well, how the hell are we all at the Celebration Bowl if it's not for the football team? Another thing is what they said in regards to that ticket sales and that money in Deion's contract, and y'all can do a FOIA request, anything over 30,000 fans in Jackson State, y'all was 50, 60,000 people, he was supposed to get a cut of that. That never happened. And it makes sense now because I've watched the SWAC press conference. I watched every single last Jackson State game, and Deion was saying like, well, it's about 50, 60,000 here, but we only got ticket sales for 30. let's talk about the facilities. The grass being cut. People getting paid to cut the grass, not being cut. You know, he brought in the field. It's so much stuff that he did and that the president didn't do. And then at the last minute, what the president did do, because the SWAC should have been involved with this as well. At the last minute, it's like, well, let's throw him $1 million or whatever. And so I believe,
just throw $1 million like he was a stripper.
Yeah, and so what I believe what Deion was doing was, I'm not going to air
shit.
It goes back.
I'm not going to the business of Jackson State with a lot of this stuff I'm dealing with behind the scenes and getting undercut on these deals, because the Under Armour deal is not going with Deion Sanders to Colorado. They're a Nike school. The football field, that Walmart field, they're not about to take the football field to Colorado. So a lot of things set up. I just think the university in the SWAC did not handle the bag properly and taking advantage of a lot of things. And just because he left, first of all, he left with only 1 year left on the contract, which he now has to pay Jackson State $500,000. So they're not losing on that. And as we're talking about getting another celebrity coach, the way our people have ate him alive, who's going to come in now and take on that drama? Ray Lewis, all of no, they're not going to come, because Deion is their guy. And they would have came, you know, but now, why would you come and step into that space?
What? Hey, brother, can I say this one thing, Doc? This is my last thing before I roll out.
Go ahead.
Trust me, Ashley Robinson's going to hire somebody good. And for all the people that are telling Jackson State fans to get over it, they'll get over it when this new coach is hired. When this new coach is hired, they're going to be celebrating the new coach instead of you guys talking about they should feel this way. Again, I'm not a Jackson State alum. The people that are telling Jackson State fans to just get over it are not Jackson State alums. So everybody should just move forward. And moving forward is the realization is that there's still that blueprint of spotlight. All we got to do, every single HBCU, you got to hire you a media group. You got to hire people. Just what Deion Jr. is doing, that's what people got to be doing. And if they do that, I'm telling you, the spotlight will be there. But I'm already moved on, man. I'm ready for the Celebration Bowl. Two talented teams. That's what it's supposed to be about.
Do you think Deion should coach the Celebration Bowl?
Yeah, because if he doesn't coach that game, Shadir doesn't play. He won't allow Shadir to play. So I kind of moved on from, I wished him well and just moved on. And worried about HBCUs. I'm worried about the success of HBCUs. I don't care about Colorado. It's an afterthought to me. But Doc, man, thank you for letting me on. Thank you to the panel, man. Y'all have a good show.
Do you think?
Right, thank you, man.
I see
my brother.
Oh,
Yeah,
I seen someone post.
DJ.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm interrupting you.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I seen
someone.
I see someone post that in 2019 that Jackson State has the highest attendees. So kind of what that tells me is that you got people buying tickets, they coming out to the game. So it sounds like it's a policy change because the contract is one thing for Deion, but the way the school runs is administrative and how they distribute their funds is a whole nother ball game. So if the policy of the school, right, the policy of the school is that funding that comes in from sports ventures and things of that nature gets put in the general fund, and then it gets decided on how they want to budget their money, then it sounds like that would have to be negotiated as well versus just the contract. Otherwise, it doesn't matter who come in there. The ticket sales is up. No matter what your contract says, if my school administrative budget doesn't say the same thing, then you're not going to get that.
So basically,
that's the problem. That's the problem at HBCUs,
right.
And why we went from we had these striving programs back when we couldn't go to the PWIs and we had no choice but to go to the HBCUs, is that we got away from actually putting more funds back into think about Grambling. Grambling. Growing up, you heard all about Grambling. You heard about Grambling Band, and you heard about Eddie Robinson. That was the face and blueprint of the school. I can't tell you who the president of Grambling is, just like I'm up here in Detroit. You got University of Michigan. Everybody know who Jim Harbaugh is. I guarantee nobody knows who's the president of the University of Michigan because of that football program, because of that U of M. You know, the thing about it is, in order for the HBCU to grow in that, the money is coming in. Just like I'm a band head. I went to a HBCU and played in the band. It's no reason why a lot of our bands, when we know we are the reason when our teams have sucked, that everybody's coming to the games, but why the band is struggling for instruments and uniform when the band is the biggest entity on the campus and we all paying tuition. Everybody in the band is not on scholarship. I'm arguing with my old school now because I sent some money and I want to make sure that it goes directly to the band program.
The only way for nonprofit organizations, just for a note for everybody, the IRS rules, if you send in money, it's unrestricted unless you have a written documentation that specifically has that money restricted to whatever it is you're trying to do, and they have to carry it out that way. Otherwise, if you send a check to the school, you just send a check. There's nothing to say where that money is restricted to go to, then it will go to general fund.
So my thing, Mo, is the question is, so when we hire the next football coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
So whenever we hire the next football coach and Ashley Robinson is in it, the next football coach he hires, you got to tell them up front, hey, you got to put this in whatever we get from football.
Projection in the final.
It has to be negotiated prior to, because because think about it, when schools do budget, right, or like anybody in the world, businesses, whoever, right, you put your budget together, those funds are voted on and restricted to a specific reason. If you have new money comes in and it's not directed specifically, restricted for a particular program, entity, person, salary, whatever, then that money is unrestricted and it goes straight to general fund and goes wherever that administrative desires to use it.
Okay.
So once again, that's on the university president because you got this influx of cash coming in because of Coach Prime, and you guys have a powerhouse team, and you basically still get on them. So why would anybody want this job?
It happens everywhere. I mean, you gotta.
It's not happening everywhere like that. It's happening. It's happening with our people with this mismanagement of funds. Just like, think about this. For years, Jackson State been playing in the Southern Heritage Classic. And it took Deion and Ashley Robinson to come and say, why are we going where Jackson State got a problem with the most people? And we barely got gas money to get back home by the time we take the boom, by the time we do this. That was bad business. But we got all these, but who was at the table making these deals for these bad contracts? And a lot of that stuff I was surprised. I was like, it took a football coach to come in and say, hey, we're not playing these games. We're not doing this because it's costing us more to do this when I'd rather we have this game at home and get this 50,000-60,000 at the vet. Now, come on.
So I have a question. So when it comes to that issue, right, whatever game, the class you just said, right? So is the issue that it was a bad deal, or is the issue we want it home so I can get my piece? Now, that wasn't really a question that I wanted to answer for, but I wanted just to put it out there. The other narrative I wanted to take is real quick. Most of the schools in the SWAC and the MEAC are actually are public schools. So the state's responsibility to make sure that they're funded. And I think that when we put that burden predominantly on the actual institutions and the community or the people, I think we have to to make sure we understand the whole narrative on that. I think I know from the SWAC perspective, Bethune-Cookman is the only private institution, right? And I know that a lot of times we only talk about the SWAC and MEAC, but there are 107 or whatever the amount is of HBCUs overall. But we just want to make sure that we keep that in perspective, that sometimes we actually owed money that we're not getting, and that has a hand in the decision into the problem.
But
let me say something. Let me say something for people that's in the chat saying that state funding is lacking. The state funding is lacking is because they want to underfund the universities. If you are in a state that is a red state, like majority of the South is, they're going to underfund these HBCU state universities. The only ones that have any type of I wouldn't say clap, but just that can maneuver some things around are your private universities. Like you said, a Bethune-Cookman, a Howard, a Hampton. What's another private HBCU that we got? A Morehouse, Spelman, Morris Brown, that just opened back, that just got his accreditation back. You got Clark Atlanta. You got all these private institutions that is like you said, most of it is religion based. They religion driven. We in the SWAC, other than Bethune-Cookman, we have to get our funding from the state, from the state. So, like, let me just say, for example, Prairie View. Prairie View's in Texas. All right. Guess what? Prairie View is part of the Texas A&M university system. So not only do they get funded from the state, they get funded from the university system too. But also, if you didn't know, that Prairie View it is written in our state constitution that Prairie View gets funded also. It's been underfunded because the state did not care too much about Prairie View. Prairie View had to join a school system in order for it to get the money. And if you really think about it on the sports aspect, that's the reason why Prairie View has some of the best facilities in the damn SWAC. Other than Alabama State, Prairie View has the best facilities in the SWAC. Regardless, they get that money from the Texas A&M system. They knew what they was doing when they signed up for that. And then we knew the state of Texas back then knew what they was doing when they made Prairie View, because they didn't want to bring any freed slaves into the new funded Texas A&M school that had just founded in 1876. Both of those schools that was founded in 1876, when pretty much you got to think about it, this is Reconstruction era. And this is after the Civil War, okay? And it, like I said, is in our Constitution that Prairie View gets funded by the state. The only thing about it is the state could give them whatever money that they want to give them. And if they want to underfund it, they want to undercut it, the state can do that.
But that's where your state representatives, state senators come into play in negotiating and seeing what were those policies. Because you gotta remember, policies were put in place a long time ago in reference to our HBCUs. So then we have to find out who's making the decisions on that funding that's coming down the pipeline. So, like, for example, if you look, I mentioned the American Rescue Plan earlier. So the American Rescue Plan for HBCUs by state. And since we're talking about Jackson State, let's just see how much Jackson received from American Rescue Plan. And you guys can look this up. You could just Google. It's on the whitehouse.gov, but you could Google American Rescue Plan to HBCUs, and you'll find it. So it says in Mississippi, over 237 million for 7 HBCUs. So Jackson, JSU got $60,437,863. Was it Hines Community College? They
Yeah,
got 87,047,253. Alcorn State University got 33,482,855. Mississippi Valley State University got 22,861,645. Cahoma, like I said,
Kahoma.
yeah, Cahoma Community College got $19,112,009. Rusk College got $8,224,611, and Tagula College got $7,924,421. So the question is, so of course they push this money down to kind of, you know, give some money to the schools. But the question is, that's this year. So who's going to be negotiating next year, and what type of fund we can get pushed down? This is a type of funding when and this came through the Department of Education,
Right.
American Rescue Plan through the Department of Education. So when you talk about your state money, right, you got to find out when the state gets funding, because the money comes from the feds down to the states. Who's negotiating on behalf of your universities or your HBCUs in your state? Because I think that a lot of the policies and the money, the threshold dollar amount that was put there for the HBCUs, the time has changed. Inflation and things are up, and those numbers have not changed. So therefore, the university costs more to maintain, and the money that they're getting is not enough to sustain. So just like, I'm not sure if you've done a show already about the story, what happened with Tennessee State University. Their enrollment went out the roof. They had to have a amount with their congressperson, right? And this fool, he talking about, how did your numbers go up? Why didn't they go to Tennessee University? Because they don't want to give up that money, right? Now they know, now that they have the enrollment. So if Jackson State enrollment went up in whatever many years, and now that they need more money, we have to learn how to use the quantitative measures of what we're doing and what is going on at our school to help support that. It gets a little bit more detail on how to approach that, but that takes like a group of people that's dedicated to always be on. So, like you said, you in the red state, I'm in the red state. Carolina is no different. You have to fight here as well. But we have, I'm just fortunate that my friend Dr. Johnson, he's a representative now, and he's boots on the ground for us. So we get funding, and then Senator Johnson, he's the third ranking in the finance of the Senate in Carolinas. But those individuals are in our district, and we're working with them. And then our city, county, and county councils, the way we're using money here is totally different than everybody else in their state. Only thing I can tell you guys is policy change, and some stuff is still on the books from his previous years, 19 whatever. We just got to get it changed, and the only way we're gonna get it changed is if our politicians is really working on our behalf and see the big picture that we need change. But then we're those, and let me say this: Republicans, the red, they about money.
Yeah.
They're about money. So sometimes you got to follow the money. And if they're going to crack the code for you, let them crack the code for you. Doesn't mean you have to be buddy, and they don't have to be your friend. But if they're going to put money in the HBCU pockets, and that's the people going to crack the codes, and they still want your votes, then you got to let them crack the code for you. Because they got a lot.
Doc,
so y'all see this thing? I don't know if y'all not seeing this. This question was Ryan Walker. I don't know if it's a banned person, but he asked, why are we holding the black athletes and entertainers accountable? Why hasn't BET giving the SWAC or MEAC a TV deal? Because first of all, the BET back then in the early 90s we used to watch they used to show black college football in the early 90s. Okay. When Robert Johnson, who was the founder of BET, he sold it to Viacom. No, he sold it. He stepped down. He gave it to Deborah Lee. Guess what Deborah Lee did? She sold it to Viacom. So that's the reason why when you look at certain shows on BET, you don't see the things that we used to see back then. You don't see the Teen Summit. You don't see the 106 in Park. You don't see the what was the one show with Donnie Simpson? You don't see those shows like that. All you see is all that bull crap that you see on the TV. And then they did not want to give the deal for having black college football or basketball on the channel. So that's the reason why not with BET. We do not care about BET. We do not care about BET. We knew BET was damn near Lily when she sold that shit to Viacom. We knew it. But she gonna still see the BET awards on there and stuff like that. But we not care. I mean, black people still care. I don't, because I don't watch it no more.
So,
I don't watch it
I
no
got a quick
more
question for
because
you.
of the simple fact that. Go ahead.
So here's the thing with the TV deal, and once again, this is just us with HBCUs just staying in ancient time. First of all, you don't need a TV deal in order to make money when you can stream, just like we have in this show, and have a very great conversation tonight. Roland Martin has been speaking about this forever. You notice when Roland Martin, after he left TV One, after he left CNN, he started his own show where he's producing his own content. And Roland is making more money right now than he would have ever had at CNN and TV One. He said he has spoken directly to HBCU presidents about creating your own streaming platform.
Yep.
But they don't want to do it. When everybody walking around in this world has a phone in their hand before they have a TV at home, and you can stream it for half the money, as well as you can make. I'm in the IT field. You make so much more money with streaming in the promotions. People don't understand the reason why these YouTube channels and everything, why YouTube is blown up. Because remember, at one time, YouTube, when the monetization thing kicked in, that's when we really started making money. Just like we mentioned earlier, Deion Sanders Jr., it was funny. I sat up there and I watched this. He had about 60,000 people on Saturday, and he has 121,000 today. Now, let's do the math. His to join his channel is $2.99, $6.99, and $24.99. Let's say if half the people who jumped on got a $2.99 a month membership, how much is that a month for Deion Sanders Jr.? That's
$2.99.
Let's go $2.99, and let's just say out of that 121,000, because we know he gained about 60,000 just in 2-3 days. But let's just say half of that. How much is that per month?
Almost $180,000 right there.
$180,000. And this is off of YouTube. But when we have people stuck in the past, and trust me, you have some media majors and IT engineers like myself at Jackson State, I'm sure saying, hey, we can do this, we can build our own app, we can stream our own content. And what did the SWAC say? No.
Nope.
What did you saying? No, we're not doing these. We're not doing these, and this is something we can be doing where you can control the content, control the advertising. Think about it. For years, the Bayou Classic used to be on NBC. It was on NBC for years, and then about the last 5-6 years, you had to get NBC Sports. You couldn't even get the Bayou Classes on Channel 4 like the way it used to come on. As I remember watching it.
The last 2 years it went back to NBC.
And why? Because guess what? All the spotlight has been on HBCUs, and so now they like, oh, we need to jump on this because everybody's looking at these HBCUs. I mean, one thing, as Martin Luther King said this, as Black folks, individually we're poor, but collectively we have wealth. And it's not by accident that every new channel that comes out or whatever channels, they build off of Black shows. You look at the WB and all that other stuff, even BET Plus, they build it off of us, and then it gets sold. So I'm not surprised when BET was going to eventually sell, because he was in the business of doing that. And then once it got to a number, he had to sell it, or they was going to push him out eventually. But we're fortunate that we are in this digital world where you can actually create your own news. You can create your own content. Just think about it. The young lady who was murdered by her so-called friends in Mexico was not on the local news, but social media and streaming drove that story, and now the FBI is involved in that case.
Right.
So I have a solution. We talked about a lot of problems tonight, and I think it was Ryan Walker that put the comment up about why not, or why aren't we holding, whoever, the black celebrities and athletes
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
accountable, right? So, how about we hold ourselves accountable? For example, if we had 1,000 people to give $1,000, how much money would that be?
$1 million.
Okay, so if I actually think it's what it's I can't see how many people are in the chat right now, but let's say everybody don't have $1,000 cash right now to give it, right? And say I ain't got it, but do you have
Right.
$83 a month? Or break down $83 a month divided by 30. Now I don't have my calculator out because my other phone's in the room, but that's probably around $2 and something a day. How many of us waste $2.94 a day? Right? So if we had $2.94 a day, all right, multiply that by 365 days a year, right? And we sent that to, our HBCU of choice, right? And then we wanted an earmark for if it's, for example, Bethune-Cookman, right? Because all the SWAC schools say, hey, y'all banned on travel. All right, we know that Bethune-Cookman has the best band. We know that, but y'all don't travel, right?
Here you go.
Here you go, right? So how about what if that money, instead of the $700,000 that was, taken away from the band, what if, that money went towards that, right? What if, the money went towards facilities or whatever the case is, whatever. So that's a solution, right, that I put together with some other people, and we have some lawyers dot I's and cross T's, and something that's on the back burner now. But what if that was taken off the back burner and we all looked at that as a solution, right? Because to me, I know that the HWCU ice ain't colder than my ice, right? So I know that we have the ability, and just like the brother talked about Dr. King's last speech, Mountaintop, collectively, guess what? We do have a lot, right? So get that $2.94 every single day, right? And now that $1,000 collectively with all these people who are on this stream right now, what if we just put that into a school every month? And Mississippi Valley State, football team or football field, wouldn't look like it did before, the last game. You know what I'm saying? So all these things we have, right? We know what the problems are, right? But how about let's look at some of the things that will create a solution, and the social media thing is one of them, for sure. But this is something that you can touch. Take that $294 a day, put it into a bucket, donate to the school, earmark it to whatever programs you want, and there you go.
I feel, man, we did some talking and we did some talking up in here, but I'm getting ready to shut this thing down. I kind of, like I said, I've been up since 5. Then I went back to sleep and been up since about 8:30 this morning. Like I said, I had to sleep. Had to be fitted for a CPAP machine last night. It went well. Thank you, Mr. Ford, for coming on as always. I probably have a show tomorrow night. We're gonna do the SWAC conference in review. So if you down to be on the show tomorrow, just let me know.
Thanks for having me, good brother, tonight.
All right, thank you, Monty. Brian, as always, coming on the show. But yeah, if anybody got some closing words before I shut it down?
Hell Wildcats.
I knew Ben Talk would get it in.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get it in.
Yeah. No, it was a great show tonight, man. Very informative, and the guy had a good solution there. Not definitely a solution, but another way of generating revenue stream for the HBCUs. You know what I mean, by little donations that way. But you know what? It just seems to me, listen to the conversation and just gathering information. A lot of it's been bad management by the presidents and administrators at HBCUs.
Yeah, I mean that's what it is. And Mr. Ford, you got anything to say before we roll up out of here?
He might be gone.
Uh-oh. I think Mr. Ford asleep. But
Mr. Ford sleep at the wheel.
But
yeah,
muted. Man, I'm about to shut it down. But
make sure folks are still on like stream.
Oh yeah, y'all still on. Make sure you like the stream and become a subscriber to the channel, y'all. We close to the goal. We are close to the goal.
To the first goal.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That first goal, we already did that. The second goal
1,000. Is a million.
Yeah, that's the second goal.
That's second goal. Okay, second goal to a million.
Yeah, we try to get to 1,000 subscribers, man, so we get this monetized. Because I might, you never know. I'm still might take this big time. I don't care what anybody say.
Keep doing what you're doing,
we
brother.
do
You're doing
have
a great
the whole
job.
leadership accountable, and that's the thing we gonna say, man. My whole thing about this: hold the leadership accountable that we have in place, or we can replace the leadership that's in place right now with a more progressive leadership, and that cares about not just about the education, but they care about the sports, they care about the band, they care about everything about the school, not just the education, not only just the education,
and have people to teach economic literacy, and to understand the different streams and the different revenue pockets that are available nowadays. And so, you know what I mean? That's like the young lady was saying, Mo, she had phenomenal information, and I just wish that, and I'm hoping that people picked up on that and do their due diligence, and if the money's out there to get, and it's, you know what I mean, and it's free, why not exhaust all that?
Right. Ryan Walker, if you wants to come on the show, man, I have you on the show. Even though I know it looked like it was annoying, but I wasn't even tripping. I like you coming in and asking questions and putting your input and stuff like that. You can come on the show. Just let me know. Hit me up on Instagram or Twitter. As you see on the ticker, HBCU _overdrive. So on both of them. I think somebody asked me if I'm going to the Celebration Bowl. I would not be at the Celebration Bowl, man, because the thing is, it is Christmas. It is Christmas season for retail, and my black ass is going to be pretty much at work.
But don't you feel there's such a different vibe right now? You know what I mean? As far as the Celebration and Bowl, you know what I mean? It doesn't have that same.
It don't have that same feeling. It don't have that same feeling to it. But But my whole thing is, I'm going to be looking at it to where I'm going to be looking at it because that's also the same weekend as high school state championships here in Texas. Okay, Ryan. Yeah, you in Fort Worth, man. I'm in Dallas, bro. Shoot, we can link up, man. And we do have to police our own. That's the reason why we are so strict when it comes to gatekeeping our HBCU school and culture. But it's also our responsibility, like you said, to hold these administrations accountable about where the money is being funded and where it's going to. So that's the thing about it, with this. But now, my final thoughts is Deion a hypocrite? I do not think he's a hypocrite. I don't think he's a hypocrite because he said the same thing. What he said to the kids at Colorado, he said the same thing to the kids here at Jackson State. I don't think he's a hypocrite about what he said. What I'm going to be fair and honest with people is I think he was more hypocritical about how he left, but we're talking about you're going to your new place of employment and you're trying to get, things into place into play before your actual season ends. And remember, he does have one game left to coach. He did.
I think he stole the kid's joy though by doing what he did for the championship. You know what I mean?
He kind of stole it, but I think he made up. He made up for it when I seen the video with Bucky when he was addressing the team and stuff like that, and they took pictures and stuff. But I think he made up for that, and I don't think he wanted to upstage any of his kids.
Sir Bucky, yeah, I understand what you're saying. But I know when I won championships at a pro level and even at in the amateur level, you know what I mean? That euphoria, it once it's there, and once it's taken away, you can't reenact that. You know what I mean? And that's just my personal opinion. So I think that it was maybe a little bit selfish on his part. You know what I mean? It seemed like he wanted to get on the plane, dress. It was very uncomfortable. Even at Ashley Robinson, the look on his face, he put up a good game face as far as like that. But even the trophy presentation was very uncomfortable. And you know what? Mm-hmm. I just think I don't know if it could have been done better because of timing with the portal happening, opening up on past Monday. Could they wait a couple weeks for the Celebration Bowl? After Celebration Bowl, I think it would have been fine. But it is what it is. I don't wish anybody any harm or any bad luck because I don't believe in that. I wish him well. I'm still a fan of Deion Sanders, but he made me a fan of JSU and HBCU, and that I'll always be.
And another thing about this is before we roll up out of here, when we get to the point where we have people in position like that, we don't need to be the whole savior. I mean, they don't have to be the whole savior. Your job basically is just to coach the football team. We should be able to take care, we as people should be able to take care of that. But if you decide that you want to bring that light back to HBCUs, then go, by all means do it. But be a man of your word also. That's my main thing right there.
But you know what it all boils down to, Doc? Never have faith in man, only have faith in God.
Was that?
I said never have faith in man, have faith in God, because the man will always disappoint you.
True. But like that's what I'm saying. Like you I mean, when it comes down to it, like I'm gonna be real honest with y'all. I'm gonna be real honest with everybody, and then I'm gonna stop and ramble. Jackson State is in a very good place. Just letting it, I'm gonna let everybody know that Jackson State is in a very good place right now. Like I said, we won two SWAC titles. The last 2 years we went 23-2. Combined with the spring 2021 year, we went 27-5.
Undefeated in the SWAC.
Undefeated in the SWAC this year. Undefeated in the SWAC both seasons.
Yeah.
And an undefeated season that we never had in school history. We never had an undefeated season in school history. So let's be proud of that, y'all. And let's be proud that we gonna cheer these boys on when they play in the Celebration Bowl. win or lose. But we want to win because we don't want to end the season on a very sour note. Okay, so that's my whole thing. We want to end this season on a high note. On a high note. Then once the season's over with, Coach Prime can do his job at Colorado. Ashley can do his job with the national coaching search for the next head coach of Jackson State. And we can try to get all these folks on the same page. Administration, and I'm let me my hold on. Let me get my okay. Jackson State administration. Please, for the love of God, the next head coach we get be on the same page, be in what accordance with the new head coach we have for the football team. It will do y'all wonders if you do that. Because if you're not going to do that, guess what? We as alumni and special interests have the right to write a check for you. We also have the power and the right to cancel that motherfucker. Get what I'm saying? So you better be on the same page with this new coach. If he asking you for something to upgrade the facility, your ass better be on the same page. Or that check that you're getting from Tim Frank or whoever, you might not be getting that check no more. Okay? So just be on one accord. That's my spiel right there.
You think DC stays?
TC stay? TC? I think he stay.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's right, Karen. That's right. It was D.I. Love before he came, and it's always going to be D.I. Love after. So the whole thing about this is Jackson State been in existence for 145 years. No one man is above the university, and that includes the school president and the head football coach. I think that's what I meant to say on my Twitter feed. When I tweeted that out this earlier. No one man is above the university. We've been there for 145 years, and it's going to be there for another 145 years. Take it how you take it how you want to take it. It is what it is. But anyway, man, appreciate everybody for rocking with the show tonight.
We out.
Appreciate all the 400 some people that actually was in the show tonight. I think Mr. Ford is asleep right now. But if you really think about it, man, look, we gonna be rocking with Jackson State. I'm always gonna rock with my alumni, with my alma mater. Ain't no better place than Jackson State University on 1400 J.R. Lynch Street, Jackson, Mississippi 39217. All right, but as always, shout outs. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my wife. You know what I'm saying? She was in the chat. She's Lady Holiday. For all those folks that don't know, she does monitor the chat room. She sleep right now because she got to be at work in the morning. But she's the one that holds everything down. She's the one that makes sure that I do the right thing on the stream. Let me give a shout out to Mr. Ford coming in. Let's give a shout out to Brian, Sean, and everybody on the panel. Shout out to Monica Lamb for the insight that she brought in. just everybody giving their opinions and think pieces and stuff like that. Man, I give a shout out to everybody doing that. It shows real love to the channel, because that's all I try to bring to this channel is the realness, the real love for everybody. But yeah, man. We shall see what's up. Hopefully next week I'll be covering not Prairie View, but Paul Quinn basketball. I was supposed to did it last week, but everybody know what happened last week. We were pretty much I want to say blindsided, but we kind of knew what it was, but we was just kind of in shock a little bit. But like I said, I'm gonna cover Paul Quinn basketball, the only HBCU here in Dallas. So probably do it live. I don't know, man. I'm gonna try to do it live if I can. But just let everybody know. Tomorrow's show is the SWAC doing SWAC team reviews. So the same energy I seen that was on the show tonight, we could do the same, have the same energy for the show tomorrow with your insights about all teams, what they need for the upcoming for the next season. Can't believe football about to be over with after next week. But yeah, man. But I love y'all. Y'all keep rocking with me. But in the meantime, between time, y'all be safe. Be blessed. Hold up. Let me before I get to all that. This your boy Doc Holliday. We're back with you have been watching HBCU OverDrive live. If you haven't done it by now, make sure that you like this stream, share it with your folks, comment, and most of all, subscribe. Become a member of the hottest HBCU podcast that's on YouTube right now. And like I said, in the meantime, between time, remember, be blessed, stay safe, and always stay dangerous. Peace.